You are listening to PastThink.com audiobook. Please like and subscribe, thank you. Chapter 89. Kong Ming tricks and captures Meng Huo a fourth time. Then a fifth time. Kong Ming's first move is to go in his special carriage to the western Air River. Here on the north bank his men construct fortified camps and build a bridge of bamboo. Secure in the defense of the bridge, the bulk of the army crosses over to the south side. And here they build 3 forts. This invasion and provocation have the desired effect, and soon Meng Huo and his vast army appear on the scene. Kong Ming rides out in his carriage to view the enemy. He is wearing his headband of silk, is dressed in white, including his crane feather cloak, and is carrying his feather fan. Opposite him rides Meng Huo, wearing rhino skin armor and a red headband. In his left hand he carries his shield, in his right his sword, and he is riding a red ox. He is surrounded by savage warriors. Despite the request of his commanders to give battle, Kong Ming orders a retreat back into the 3 forts. Let their rage subside, then when they have calmed down we can defeat them, said Kong Ming. Sure enough, a couple of days later, having observed that the tribal warriors have grown bored and have relaxed their guard, he sends out his commanders in different directions. To Ma Dai he says, I'm going to abandon the forts and move to the north shore. Dismantle the bamboo bridge, but then rebuild it further downstream. Leaving lights burning in the camp to make it look occupied, Kong Ming withdraws his army northwards across the river. It isn't until the following morning that Meng Huo discovers the abandoned camps still with their stores in them. He gives orders to prepare rafts to sail across and attack the Shu army. Little does he know that his lands have already been penetrated by the Shu troops. Suddenly fires are ignited all around the Man army, and panic breaks out, with men fleeing in all directions. Soon Meng Huo has but a handful of soldiers still with him, and they retreat into a valley to the east. To his amazement and delight he sees Kong Ming's carriage trundling along ahead of him, and Kong Ming, seeing him, shouts, "Ha, King of the Man! Heaven has defeated you again, but you took so long to get here." 3 times he has tricked me, cries Meng Huo to his men. Now let's get him. Charge! Not many of his men follow him, but some riders do charge forward, with Meng Huo leading. Just as they close for the kill, the ground beneath them collapses, and they and their horses fall into deep pits. Wei Yan has them pulled out and binds them tight. Then he marches them off to Kong Ming's camp. Of course, Kong Ming pardons the soldiers and sets them free. He remonstrates with Meng Yu and urges him to at least try to tame his brother. Then he too is released. Finally Meng Huo is brought in. Challenged by Kong Ming to account for being captured for the 4th time, Meng Huo remains defiant, threatening to haunt Kong Ming even from the grave. The order is given, execute him. But even at this point Meng Huo is still hurling insults at Kong Ming. Free me, and I'll avenge all 4 failures. And once again, having ascertained that Meng Huo will indeed make another attempt, but if defeated he promises, submit, Kong Ming releases him. He joins up with his brother Meng Yu, and they decide to take refuge in Bald Dragon Ravine, until the heat of summer drives the invading army away. Bald Dragon Ravine's chieftain, Duosi, assures them that this place is a perfect refuge, because there are only 2 roads in and out. One is blocked by fortifications, and is impassable to any enemy. The other road is a track across desolate landscapes and past 4 deadly springs, the only source of water anywhere in the region of the path. No one, he confidently tells Meng Huo and Yu, will ever get through there. Only 2 commanders in the last 300 years have ever made it through, the last one nearly 200 years ago. As a poet 26 wrote about the heat. The hills and marshes are decaying, torrid places. A raging fire of heat overwhelms all. There is nowhere else so dreadful. Nowhere else is the wind this terrible. And how accurate the poet is. The conditions the Shu army find themselves in are truly terrible, and the men are far from happy. But Kong Ming has come this far and knows that to turn back, even with these terrible conditions, will mean defeat. So he is, of course, eager to see if there is any way into Bald Dragon Ravine. Wang Ping is sent with a detachment to try the track route, but in desperation in the wilderness they drink from the first of the deadly springs, and are struck dumb. Local people tell them they are doomed to die within a week or two. On hearing this, Kong Ming goes to the spring himself. Looking around, he sees, high above, the remains of an old shrine. Perplexed by the silence of the place, no bird or animal is to be seen or heard, he climbs up to the ancient temple. He finds it is dedicated to one of the two commanders, who made his way through the deserted landscape, General Ma Yuan. 27 Kong Ming prays for help, and suddenly an old man appears. From him Kong Ming learns about all 4 of the deadly springs, and how to protect his men from their effects. Travel only in the afternoon, when the mists have cleared, and chew on a special herb. To find this, Kong Ming is told to go deeper into the countryside, until he comes to the valley of the stream of everlasting peace. Here you will find a hermit, and before his hut flows the spring of peace and happiness. These waters will cure those already afflicted, and here grows the special herb of protection, says the old man. Who are you, sir? Asks Kong Ming. I am the guardian spirit of this mountain sent to help you by General Ma Yuan. So saying, he disappears. The very next day Kong Ming and his affected men travel to the valley, and find the spring and the hermit. He immediately recognizes Kong Ming, and Kong Ming confesses his distress at not being able to subdue the man, and thus fulfill the charge given him by the first ruler. The hermit shows the men where to bathe, and they are cured. He also shows Kong Ming the herb to be chewed as a protection. And who are you, sir? Inquires Kong Ming. I am Meng Hua's elder brother, Meng Jie. Kong Ming is completely taken aback at this. Do not be too surprised, says Meng Jie. Let me explain. We are indeed 3 brothers. Our parents died, and my 2 brothers have taken to the way of evil, and will not obey the king nor be part of civilized life. I've tried to stop them but to no avail, so have retreated here. I'm so sorry that their crimes have been such a curse for you, and I deserve many deaths for this failure. So here I am now to beg your forgiveness. Kong Ming replies, Sir, what if I were to petition the Son of Heaven to make you king? Would you accept? But none of the trappings of power or wealth has any appeal to the hermit, and despite Kong Ming's best efforts he will accept nothing for the help he gives. Having dug wells and prayed for fresh water, which miraculously arises, the army of Shu replenish their supplies. Chewing the herb, they travel only in the afternoon. And soon they arrive on the edge of the Bald Dragon Ravine. When news of the successful invasion comes to Meng Hua and King Duosi, they cannot believe their ears and go to see for themselves. These are deities, not humans, says Duosi. But they all agree they have no option but to attack and fight to the end. A grand feast is held to encourage the warriors, and in the midst of this another chieftain, Yang Feng, head of 21 tribes from another valley, arrives, pledging his men, some 30,000 of them, to the struggle. Soon everyone is very drunk, and at this point Yang Feng suggests that they need dancing women, and that his women dance the sword and shield dance better than anyone else. So in they come, along with his 5 warrior sons. 2 of Yang Feng's sons bring cups of wine to the Meng brothers, but then, at a cry from Yang Feng, leap forward and seize the pair of them. King Duosi tries to flee, but is grabbed by Yang Feng. The dancing women have suddenly become warriors to prevent anyone else coming into the tent. Why? Asks Meng Hua, who is completely taken aback. Because we owe Kong Ming the lives of our brothers and sons, whom he freed. We must honor his kindness, and bringing a rebel to him is how we will do this. With their leaders captured, the tribes scatter back to their homelands, while Yang Feng brings the 3 captured leaders to Kong Ming. He is richly rewarded. So once again Kong Ming greets Meng Hua, smiling. Will you submit now? He asks. Why? Replies the still defiant Meng Hua. You didn't do this. It was betrayal by my own people. Kill me if you want, but I'll not submit. It was the will of heaven that my troops have not been affected by the poisonous springs. So given that, how much longer will you persist in this stupidity? Asks Kong Ming. Beyond here, in the valley of the Silver Pit Hills, my ancestors lived. 3 great rivers and high mountains protected them. If you can capture me there, well then I will submit, and that submission will bind all the generations to come. To this Kong Ming says, if, after releasing you, you gather your forces together to contest me, and I capture you and you still refuse to submit, I'll kill all of your tribe, everyone who is even remotely related to you. So Meng Huo, and Meng Yu and King Duosi, are released. Will this plan ever succeed? Who knows?